Let's further discuss this now with Hatem Bazian, a professor of Middle East cultures and languages at the University of California in Berkeley. Thank you so much for being with us on the program, Professor.
Thank you for
First off,
having me.
let's talk about what you make of these latest developments and what's being called a goodwill gesture from Hamas.
Well, it seems that there is a break between Trump and Netanyahu on the debates or discussions on the release of the hostages and exchange with Palestinian hostages. And it seems that Netanyahu have attempted to really interfere in White House, in the national security, Pentagon discussions and debates about Iran, about Yemen, and also the file in Gaza. From this, it seems that Trump have already bypassed Netanyahu and directly went into striking a deal, even though that Hamas is saying that they will not have any expected exchange. But the indication is that Trump has been able to use or leverage his relationship with Qatar, with Egypt, as well as Turkey, to strike a deal that completely bypasses Netanyahu. And now Netanyahu is in really a difficult political position inside Israel. The debate in the Knesset right now, also the opposition, is pointing that an Israeli citizen with an American citizenship for sure has been released by a foreign government rather than Israel itself being able to actually get its hostages in a negotiation exchange with Hamas. So it definitely points that there is some distance being established between Trump and Netanyahu.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in a bit, but we're hearing from Netanyahu now saying that the release of Alexander was made possible by military pressure on Hamas. And it's interesting to see the timing of this hostage, this particular American-Israeli hostage being released. You mentioned the pressure on Netanyahu. How much pressure is he facing? Is it going to lead him to restart those ceasefire negotiations?
Well, the negotiations have been taking place through the intermediary of both Qatar and Egypt. But internally, Netanyahu does not want a deal because a deal to end the war in Gaza means an end to his political career. That's very clear. Both he has a number of legal cases pending in the courts, but also his coalition, especially from Ben Gvir, Smotrich, and others from his extreme right-wing coalition, that if a ceasefire and end of the war emerges, that they will bolt from this coalition with the specific demand that resettlement, that they want actually to take over Gaza and open it for settlement again. So he's not even between a rock and a hard place. He's literally, all the rocks are on his head. And now we see that the United States is attempting to strike its own deal. This is coming before Trump actually arrives in the region. So he wants to have as many deals settled upon his arrival. And Gaza is one of those files that he promised during his campaign to bring an end to the war in Gaza. So we'll have to wait and see. This coming week is going to be a very interesting one for U.S. foreign policy and U.S. relations with Israel and the Arab world, with Gaza being in the forefront.
Indeed. And the reason why experts believe that there is a rift between the U.S. and Israel is because Donald Trump is making that Middle East tour without making that visit to Israel, bypassing the country. What can we expect to come out of this Middle East tour? He's meeting very important countries, his counterparts in these countries. And how can this push Trump to add that extra pressure to at least lift the blockade off of Gaza to allow that much needed humanitarian aid in?
Well, just to focus on his trip to the region, it's definitely a trip that is built upon his economic plan. He is focusing on what he called America First. He wants to reinvigorate the American economy, an indication that Saudi Arabia is going to invest heavily in the U.S. economy. United Arab Emirates already indicated they will invest heavily. Qatar likewise. So the three countries that he is visiting with U.S. Bases already have given the signal that they are committing massive resources to try to provide the U.S. economy some level of infusion of these economic deals. Simultaneously, that Trump and the Trump administration has been negotiating with Iran, also something that occurred without Israel, the negotiations that opened up in Oman, and early indication that there's some positive movement on the Iranian file. Israel and Netanyahu wanted a war, and they actually thought that Trump, coming from considerable support of the U.S. domestic Zionist movement and Zionist support, that he would actually immediately go into a possible escalation and a war with Iran. Trump is actually not biting on this, and I think the leak from or the violation of Waltz, who was the national security advisor, allowing Israel or at least a bypass to try to get access to information, showed that Trump cannot trust Netanyahu, and he wants to drag the United States to a war with Iran. So again, we're seeing this positioning. Whether this will continue and move toward a break between the United States and Israel, we'll wait and see. But I do think that there is definitely changes that are occurring, and this visit, without a visit to Israel, is a signal that a different policy is being pursued, and we'll have to wait and see what will be the development in the next few days, or if not the few weeks.
Professor Bazian, thank you so much for being with us here on TRT World and sharing that analysis. I appreciate it.